Good afternoon, everyone. The wall that I dropped the other day actually didn't do much damage to it. I got lucky. When I dropped it, and I'm sure it's on, I don't know if Maria included in this reel or she's got her own separate grouper reel, but when I dropped it, luckily didn't do any real damage to it. I had it all tied together. The main beam was okay and the stud was okay. It just broke the very top edge, that's all. So I just knocked it off, top plate, knocked it off, remarked one, cut it, put a new one back on. We were back in business. However, that was one of those moments we won't talk about when you feel really dumb and you realize too late what you did. Oh well. Told Dobie about it and he laughed. He kind of said, well, at least we got that one out of the way and it won't happen again. Now you'll learn. I should have known. I've driven forklift for years and everything else. I should have known that one. Anyways, the wall is complete. That one's ready to go. You can see it's on rollers. It can be rolled in place when we're done. And I just uncovered my sheets of OSB. It is time to start sheeting. So I will reposition the camera in that and just show you guys what I've been up to there. Take care. Alright, I'm going back all the way to the first wall section I built. That's where I'm going to start sheeting. And I just wanted to show you guys before I started what I was doing. I want this wall to be square. I've checked it for length. It's perfect on top and bottom. I've checked the height. We're okay across it. Now I want to make sure that it is square corner to corner. And sure enough, it was out a little bit. Not much, but I, for about the last half hour, have been, you can see the two tape measures. I hope you can. They are crossed back and forth. Crossed it, and should be the end of one there. Goes across. See where they cross. The other one goes to the other corner. Way over there. And I have been checking corner to corner and tapping it with a sledgehammer and crowbar and that just to make sure it's exact. And relatively speaking, I'm within probably a 30-second range corner to corner now, so I'm happy with that. And I will start sheeting now. So I will cut the straps on the sheets and start carrying them over and see how it goes. I will give you guys an update in a little while. A good windy day out here. Not a great day for carrying sheets or anything, or for definitely not a good day to stand up walls. So, all right. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hey guys, my friends are back. I don't know if you can see or not. I'm hoping you can. I got zoomed as much as I can. But the babies are with them. You just make them out. The heads of the babies going up and down, eating away there. It's funny how one is always watching over it. They'll take turns. One will watch over it, then the other one will eat. One's always watching. They're like that even without the babies. One always watches for the other. But you can just make out in the very middle of the screen there, little heads bobbing up and down. They're cute. We love Mother Nature. And you get a lot of it around here, so just thought I'd take a second and show you guys. Alright. Good day, everybody. It's Wednesday, and it's going to be a hot one of all things. Or actually, might set records, who knows. It's going to be about 80. That's incredible for us this time of year. And trying to get as much done as we can. Push on. And as you can see, I have started the sheeting. Now, the last little quick clip I put up, I was showing how I squared the wall. So I did that last night, got it all squared, ready to go. And this morning I got out here and started throwing some sheets down. First couple sheets are just the most, I won't say difficult, but time consuming. You want to square the sheet on the wall and make sure it all lines up with the studs, everything. There's got to be a gap between every sheet. They recommend 1/8 of an inch because these sheets are OSB and they tend to swell a bit, and if you don't, they say they will buckle. That probably I say wouldn't be a issue here because I have so much blocking. I think it would hold it. But why take a chance? So I'm trying to leave a gap between every sheet. Plus the bottom sheet has to hang over a inch, because that, when you flip this wall up, will land up on the mud sill. I didn't want it to go all the way down to the ground in case it makes ground contact. I did want it to keep it up a little bit so it won't swell, it won't get wet. But I did want it to go over the mud sill so it ties into the mud sill so it gives it more strength. So just a little finicky, that's all for the first couple sheets, and you'll see I'm probably way more finicky than most people. Even cutting the holes, I've never seen anybody do anything but take a saw and cut. I took my little laminate trim router, threw my laminate trim router in, cut it close, and then ran it inside the window. Guaranteed it's the right size. Again, if I were a better carpenter, or if I were trying to make money, I'd never do that. But since I've got the time and I'm working at my own pace and got this, labor's free. It's me. I'm not paying myself to do it, so it's just a matter of lining up everything, getting it straight, and cutting, playing a bit. And so far, so good. I've got 3 sheets down. I'm just going to let the camera run while I do the next couple sheets, and once in a while I'll see if I see anything or I'm doing anything. I'll yell at you guys, but otherwise, enjoy watching. I'm using 1/2 inch OSB, a little bit thicker than most people use. Most people are putting 7/16, which isn't really 7/16, it's a little bit under. Even this 1/2 inch is 32nd under or whatever. But just a little bit thicker, gives a little bit more strength, stops everything from racking, holds nails better when you're doing the siding. You'll also notice people ask, what side do you want out for the OSB? There is I'll flip it for you. A smooth side, a textured side. I don't even know why. I'm presuming, guesswork. Maybe it's to hold stuff better on the textured side. Let the insulation get smooth side slide a little better. Just one for installing might help. The Tyvek might stick a little bit better, this or house wrap, but regardless, it's got lines on it. The lines line up with the studs. They make it easier when you have a nail gun or just nailing, because otherwise you wouldn't know where the studs are. You have to measure every stud and draw a line where every stud. And I've actually done that before on sheets that weren't marked years and years ago. Now every sheet I've seen has marks, so all you gotta do is line up the marks. You're going to hit a stud. Easy. I have a nail here, 1/8 of an inch gap. It's already in there. So all I gotta do is line up and we should be okay. Almost caught myself in a mistake there. When I flip it up, I'm a little bit worried the pressure treated wood seems to be just a little bit wider than the standard dimensional lumber. Shouldn't be, maybe when it dries out it won't be. But right now, when I was measuring it, it just seemed to be a 1/8 to a 16th, somewhere in there, 16th to an 1/8 bigger. I was afraid that when I flip this up, if I nail the bottom edge of that down, I won't be able to pull the wall in because all my measurements are taken off the inside edge of that wall. I didn't really care if the outside was in or out a little bit. I cared that the inside was straight, so I put, I chalk marked my line. You guys saw way back first video, mud sill. The inside line is what's perfect in here, not the outside line. So I'm not nailing the bottom edge of this just for a foot up. That way when we put this wall up, it'll have a little bit of flex and I should be able to pull the wall if I really need to get it to line up. Hopefully we won't have to do that, but just in case, nobody's taking chances. Now another point, I'm measuring off the bottom plate. That bottom plate's got to be straight. if you're building on wood floor, a lot of times they will nail down that bottom plate just with a couple nails, and they like to use that as a hinge when they stand up. Can't do that on concrete. So this first one, I think I told you guys again way back when I started the wall, I actually got fancy and put some hinges on it. That's fine. That'll keep it straight. I double checked it with a line. It's straight. Once we get to the other walls, I'm going to have to be a lot more careful. I'm going to have to check to make sure that sill is straight because it's not necessarily referenced right now to anything. So I want to make sure that, you know, what you call it, you don't want the bottom sill to be up and down, the wall to be up and down, wavy, and you're nailing this on because once it's on, it's not moving. The other minor thing, this wall section is the only one I've got so far that was beyond 16 feet. And I only had 16 foot 2x6s. So I actually have a joint in the top. And the top plate will go right on over top of that, and I've actually got reinforced on the bottom too. I tried to make sure when I drew this up, and I was actually on the computer the other day drawing up where the sheets are going to go, the sheets would jump over that gap. I don't want a gap exposed if you're open. I didn't want to have my sheets end anywhere near that gap. I wanted to make sure the sheet jumped over the gap. One last thing. You might see it's kind of odd the way I blocked it again. I think I might have mentioned this in an earlier video, but in case I didn't, I will put a 2-foot sheet in here today yet. I'm leaving the top open. When we put the rafters up, the roof rafters are what they call energy rafters. They have an energy heel on them. It means they have a 2-foot section where it goes over top of the wall. That means you can get 2 feet of insulation, not just over most of the ceiling. You get 2 feet of insulation right to the edge of that roof. Makes your house and building look 2 feet higher, but that's how you manage to get it, because otherwise you may only have a couple inches. If you can imagine a normal roof rafter coming down on top of a wall, you will only get the thickness of that rafter normally right on top of the edge of the wall. And that's very cold spots for most houses. Older houses have that problem. You can never get a warm spot there. You're always losing heat through there. I'll have a full 2 feet right above the roof. Leave 6 inches of air gap, maybe 18 inches insulation. Have no problem at all. Because remember, you can't just shove it full of insulation. You have to have an air gap there to let the air go up or you'll rot your roof. So if you think of somebody using a 2x6 or 2x8 or 2x10, whatever, once you leave even a little air gap, you don't really have much insulation above that edge of the wall. Again, just minor little points all coming together to make sure you do a good job when you put this thing up. Or any house. Out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to have to lay down the next sheets and already decide where they're going before I nail that one down forever. And that way I know that I'm going to have the right spacing, the right gap. Because again, my worry is error. If you leave too big of a gap and you're not absolutely 100%, you get to the next point and you're off a little bit again. And by the time you're going to miss these. By the time you get to the third or fourth one, you're going to miss the blocks. And that's just a fear of mine, that you'd be over top of the blocks too far, under the blocks. You've got 1.5 inches. Divide that by 2 because the 2 sheets meet. So you got 3/4 of an inch. You got an 1/8 of an inch gap. Subtract another 1/16 of an inch now on each side. You're getting close already. And then if you miss by, you know, maybe 1/8 or 1/4 down on the lower sheet, and then you miss by another 1/8 or 1/4 up on this sheet, now I've actually seen where builders have to put another little block under it and scab something in there just so they can nail you, and trying to avoid all the little issues. Just do it right the first time. So if I lay the other sheets, make sure they line up, safer. Maria has been wearing a hat all the time now. She says that I'm getting sunburned. For all you people who know me, like you wearing a shirt. I never wear a shirt when I'm looking outside. First time for everything through these videos. Maria said I'll scare everybody out there watching, so. this sheet is one of the few sheets that will not line up. I'll have to draw some lines to make sure it matches. You can kind of see it's off. The only reason this sheet is off, I could line it up, and they would line up the black lines with the studs, but if I do that, I'm going to have to cut a little bit off each side. Trying to be cheap and save the bigger piece of wood so I can use it later, I try to shift it all the way over against the edge of the window, or as close as I can, and that way I get the biggest piece of wood left. Just being cheap. Oh, my dad used to say when we were alive, economical. We're not cheap, we're economical. See, we're getting tight up here. It's already starting to creep, so next time I may leave a little less gap. I may put a 1/16 of an inch instead of an eighth or something. Again, not super critical. I was checking it on the web and checking with people I know. The suggestion is you leave the gap because they're afraid of the buckling, and that's the manufacturer's suggestion. In fact, you stamped on the sheets. The one thing they say you can do is leave the sheets out in the weather, just as it's been out here, so it's not fresh from a mill. And then they tend to acclimate. They've absorbed the moisture they're going to absorb from the RA. They swell a little bit. I measured these. They're actually a little bit bigger than what they say they are. They're supposed to be a 1/16 of an inch less than on each dimension, so you get that 1/8 of an inch gap. They're not. They're actually almost the size, so I'm guessing they've already swelled. But that said, it still can get warmer and still can get more moist, so I'd be safe and at least leave a little bit of a gap between them. I did check with a couple people. They said they don't leave them. Never worried about it, never thought about it. I don't know if the guys who built my house did. Abundance of caution. Are going to now cut out the windows. I'll make sure I've got all my nails in on it, and I will cut the windows in. I cut my 2-foot sheet, start filling that one out, and then we can jump on. I'm going to leave the end, I think, kind of undone. I'm still debating on this one. You see, I make up the rules as I go along. I have two choices. Completely leave it undone, and that's fine. Or nail the sheets on this half, but not on the other half. And that way we can stand them up and make sure stand this one up first. The sheets will be hanging along. Who cares? That's fine. You put the other wall against you can just hit them right up. Debating which is better. Haven't decided yet. So. Alright guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Really saw what I was up to. Take care of yourself. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Well, it's a learning experience, but I was getting a little quicker. Not that I'm quick at anything I do, but hey. You can see, first section of the wall, as far as I can go sheeting it, because I want all the sheets now. They'll be over 8 feet, and they will go over the joint between the two walls here. So that's about where it stops. I'm going to square up the next section tonight and start on it. I'll figure out where 8 feet comes on each of these sheets and say that's where the next sheet starts. And that's where she goes. Just an interesting, well, a point of interest. I'm not sure. Again, I'm sure all the real carpenters out there know this, but just for anybody else, there are, I don't know if you can see it, but there are special nails they make that have two heads on them, literally. They have on the top and a second ridge or head, maybe a 1/4 inch below it. And these are made for temporary construction. They're easy to pull out because when you put them in, they go to the first head, if you will, to hold down the material, and then you can easily pull them out. And they're called duplex nails, so you might see me using them for spacing here, and they're just easy to pull out because they're the heads up on. So just FYI. Alright guys, time to take a break and get my button gear and get back out here tonight. You guys take care of yourselves. Bye bye. Hey guys, just a quick little short one. Just want to show you where the boss sits watching over me. She wants to make sure I don't take too many breaks or take too long. If I start talking to somebody or she starts cracking the whip there, getting me at work. So that's Maria watching up over me. She's the one who puts all these videos together. Okay, after a long day, man, today I appreciate their help. Toby and Jim just couldn't have done without them. That was a great day's work. And you can see from the outside, it's all supported, it's all in. We've supported the inside. I'll show you the other side in just a second, but coming along. That's the wall at the back here is actually ending halfway through the building, so it's literally half the building that way, and we're, I don't know, 2/3 of the way along the wall the other way. Maybe another 16 feet to go that way, that other piece of wall to be stood up yet. And it's coming along, and this is how it'll sit for a while. The guys told me they suggest I leave the rest of the sheeting off just to let the wind go through, so it's not quite a sail until we get it done, until the roof's on there, at least supported with the rafters, and I can finish up the rest of the pieces. So anyhow, you guys can see from this side. I'll go walk around the other way and take a quick shot from there. All right, and here it is from the front. And you can see we got that middle section of wall teed into it. Should give it a little bit of strength to hold it. Put 2x4s crossed. A couple more down. We even nailed to that section of wall that's not being used just to hold it, give it a little extra strength. It all came together. I was so impressed. Let me tell you, you always worry when you're seeing all the pieces on the ground going, they're really going to fit together, they're really going to be where it belongs and everything line up, but it came together. I'm a happy camper. That was awesome. So, like I said, again, I couldn't do it without the guy that was, and that telehandler just lifts him like nothing. It was, and that's some heavy pieces of wall. So you can see it's pretty large, over 16 foot high. It's a good sized building, in fact, just to give you an idea. I'll walk up to it. I'm short, I know, but still, that's tall. The windows are pretty high. I did that on purpose. I want to be able to put a workbench under them. I didn't want them to interfere with the workbench, so I put them up at, I think it's 42 inches. The workbench height is typically 30, 32, something like that, 36 even. But I wanted to make them high enough that I could put the workbench in front of it, get natural light in. Wouldn't look like a cave. So I've got 4 windows on that wall. And just a little further in is where that shop part will end and the office part will start. So what you're looking at there is the machine shop bay. It's where all the big machines will go, and there should be a little bit of a loft or a catwalk just on one side for storage on this one, because you don't need a 16 foot high ceiling in the entire machine shop. The other 2 bays will have full height ceilings because you might pull something in large and want to work on it. But it's highly unlikely I'll ever have anything 16 feet in the machine shop side. Typically that's all small stuff. So anyways, that is the building to date. Supposed to be thunderstorms coming in, so we hope we got enough bracing. Tomorrow it's supposed to be about 4 hours of rough weather they're calling for, so crossing our fingers a little bit. But presuming tomorrow the rough day, Monday I'll be back at it. Keep on trucking. All right, don't forget to like the video if you guys don't mind. I would appreciate it. And share the video with anybody you know who might be interested, or just get a kick out of watching the building go up. If you know anybody who might be interested in this kind of thing, that share the link, give it to whoever, let them all see it. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Have yourselves a good night. Bye bye.